everyone, it's Jordan here, back again with this week's update and all the physical releases coming to the Switch. We're in the second week of June, 13th until the 17th. Remember, once we get to 100,000 subscribers, we're giving away a Nintendo Switch OLED model to one of you. Now, it is a crazy week with a lot of good games, but before we get into it, my personal project that I've been going on about the past few weeks is now live with the first video available to watch. Yes, you can go there after this video with the link in the description and see my new project. It's called A Bit More Jordan. Apparently that's a popular OnlyFans tag, but I am reclaiming it. There'll be no nudity there unless it gets like 100,000 subscribers. Then maybe you'll see the chest hair, but don't worry, you're safe for now. Anyways, this new channel is dedicated to long form content. Long videos about retro games, mostly good ones, some bad ones, some popular ones, some obscure ones, analyzing them, dissecting them, talking you through them while being informative and hopefully funny. Yes, if you enjoy the kind of humor found in these videos, then I'm sure, 100% sure, you will enjoy A Bit More Jordan, because it's basically that, except longer. It's a bit more me, it's quite a bit more than me. I'm getting chunkier. I might as well make a channel about me getting chunkier. It's not about that. And not once will I bitch about limited run. Not guaranteed. Yes, the first video on one of my favorite games of all time, Suikoden, is now live. 1 hour, 40 minutes. They won't all be that long, of course, but I really hope you can go over there and check it out with the link in the description after watching this video. Expect games such as Skies of Arcadia, Azure Dreams, Alundra, Resident Evil, games from the PS1, PS2, GameCube era, things like that. And I am open to suggestions. And I know what you must be thinking, how can you handle 3 channels at the same time? Don't worry, SwitchWatch this every week, that's not gonna stop. Plus, the occasional review, once something takes my fancy. Something's coming this week, probably. Also, V in Paradise, I've got a brilliant team of writers who can help keep that going, with the odd contribution from myself rocking up to do my voice and editing. And also, this A Bit More Jordan, I'm going for 1 video per month for the time being. Unless the Patreon gets insane, then I might do one every few weeks. Although I doubt it will ever get that high, and if it ever did, by that point I would be, full-time YouTube creator. So yeah, around 10,000 of you guys watch this video every week. Any chance you could all just pop over there and give me the boost? I'm sure you'll enjoy it, really. I think you will. The link to the channel and the first video is in the description. Go watch it after this video. Obviously not all in one sitting, maybe 3 or 4. Have a break, and I would greatly appreciate it. If you appreciate what I do, do me a favor, go over there and give it a watch, please. Alright, that's enough of me being desperate. Let's check out this week's video games, eh? It's a crazy week, like proper Xtreme. Crazy Chicken Xtreme is releasing in North America this week, I believe. I mean, there is the YouTube mantra that if you want to be successful, you need to be persistent and never give up. And these chicken guys, they are not giving up. There are way more crazy chicken games than the world ever needs. This is another light gun shooter, and I think they're onto something here. That chicken is so goddamn unappealing. Of course you want to shoot it. Of course you will pay $30 to shoot this chicken to oblivion. It's genius. You even get a Gatling gun. I think this is more genius than people are giving it credit for. Horgihugh and Friends is a rare occurrence of Axis Games putting out something that's not an Otome visual novel these days. Well, unless this is the biggest subversion of all time. This is a cute looking shooter with town building elements. They've done it. They've cracked it. They found the perfect combo. If this was in game dev story and you picked those 2 genres, that would be a billion seller. Shmups with town building, it's time to retire, guys. How can you top that? Have a cigar and take a ride off into the sunset, my dear Axis Games. The quest for Excalibur, Puy du Fou, is probably releasing in Europe this week. I think US will have to wait later on, sadly. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, since if they're not going to make a trailer for it, it's probably not worth a look. It's based off a famous theme park, apparently. Where's the Alton Towers video game? Windstorm, start of a great friendship, is probably releasing in Europe this week. I believe this is the 3rd Windstorm game that's on the Switch, although it is a series that greatly confuses me. There's plenty of horse riding games on the system. How about this one? Yay or nay? White Knight is releasing in Europe this week. Maybe. It be Tessura Games, so it could be any day. It could be today, tomorrow, next Sunday, who knows. And there's even a deluxe edition over on Funstock. This is a pretty ancient survival puzzle game. You're in an old ass mansion in the 1930s. You're trapped in a nightmare. Apparently the puzzles involve light and shadows, and this game has been around the block quite a bit. I mean, it came out digitally 4 years ago on the Switch and even longer on other consoles. So if you've been patiently biding your time for a physical release and you're still alive, then congratulations, patience has won. Final Vendetta is releasing physically in Europe this week. Limited Run were handling this in North America. I know there are plenty of editions available for this retro style beat 'em up. Yes, this looks pretty faithful to the old school Final Fight, Streets of Rage look. Very, very authentic. And it looks like it's going to be a good one for beat 'em up fans. It's just a pity it is releasing at the same time as another beat 'em up that is going to blow this out of the water in terms of popularity. That is digitally. At least physically this is out first. And yeah, I'll get to those pesky teenage ninjas later on. Baba is you. I'm the Baba. I think we've already established that when I talked about this for Fan Gamers pre-order on their site. Well, this is the less special retail version. Sadly, in North America, only North America it seems, I didn't see this in Europe, which would be a big shame if it didn't go over there, because it's a fantastic puzzle game that will delight all of those who play it. A bit weird and peculiar, definitely got its own personality. WindJammers 2 should be releasing in Europe this week at retail. There was a Pix and Love Collector's Edition, but this is the normal retail version, thankfully. You may remember that Limited Run are handling this in North America. Have no idea what their progress is with that. I know those cheap tacky pink mustaches take an age to manufacture because you can't rush quality. This is a long awaited sequel to an all-time classic arcade game. Literally everyone fondly remembers it, even if they've never played it before. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and I've barely played it for 5 minutes. Okay, there's only some truth in that, but it was awesome, and it's interesting to see how this sequel tried to evolve the formula somewhat. Zombie Night Terror is maybe releasing in Europe this week. I say maybe because it's Tessura Games, and they are rather liberal with their release dates, as we've already established multiple times. This is supposed to be a rather good game, despite it looking a bit crap, if I'm being honest. It is also rather ancient too, coming out originally in 2016. Reviews say that it's a bit like Lemmings, but with zombies. I think they've cracked it again. Lemmings with zombies. It's actually got an 81 Metacritic score on PC, so that's pretty promising, right? And a quick shout out to House of the Dead Remake, which should be finally releasing in North America this week. Alright, the low print Smelter is Red Art Games' latest release. Pre-orders went up last week. This is an interesting looking game that mixes decent enough action platforming that kinda just looks like a Mega Man X game, with some strategy elements with city building. Now, looking at older reviews, it seems that people found this side of things a bit boring, which is unfortunate, but others enjoyed the fusion, taking staple elements and making its own identity. You can pre-order this from Red Art Games now in either a standard or collector's edition and get 10% off with SwitchWatch 10. Heaven's Vault is Strictly Limited Games' most recent release, up for pre-order around now probably. This is a pretty relaxing archaeology game where you explore ancient sites, find artifacts, and try to translate old ass text. I didn't want to use the word ancient twice, so old ass text will have to do. Now, this may sound like a rather dull concept, but its storytelling is done really well, so I'm told. It's non-linear, and I am a big fan of Stargate, particularly SG-1. So if I can feel like Daniel Jackson for a dozen hours, it just looks pretty good to me. There's a standard edition and collector's edition to boot, and our executive producers Jennifer M and Viz have chosen this as their pick of the week. Gato Robotto is finally getting its Special Reserve release. Yes, about 2 years after I told Special Reserve to goddamn do it. Although maybe slightly more polite than that. Finally, this cute Meowtroidvania, and yes, I do hate myself right now, is getting a physical release that you can pre-order from Special Reserve's website on the 14th. Seriously, if you don't know Gato Robotto, go check out my review. It's one of the few games I've completed multiple times, especially when it comes to review stuff. I finished it 3 times and tried to speedrun it, and I never do that. It's not a long game by any means, but it's so pick up and play and really fun. It's kind of meant to be played twice. I had a lot of fun with it, and I hope it does well for the CEO of Special Reserve so he doesn't hunt me down. My life is at risk. And there are no picks of the week for this because I kind of forgot to give them the option for this one. Sorry. Bats, Bloodsucker, Anti-Terror Squad, I give you my commiserations, because let's face it, of the 4 games from Limited Run in this episode, literally no one is going to give a shit about you. I mean, in a week they've sold about 300 copies in both the standard and collector's edition. This is a 16-bit action side-scroller. You're a vampire taking down terrorists. It looks perhaps a bit too mindless, at least from the trailer, but hey, for mindless people like myself, it might be fun. There is a standard edition and collector's edition you can pre-order now. Tetris Effect Connected. Apparently something as wildly niche and obscure as Tetris needs a low print release. There is absolutely no way this could have been sold at retail. No way. Impossible. Especially one that's considered one of the best versions of said game of all time. Well, thank God, thank the messiahs themselves for stepping up to bring this unknown Russian puzzle game to the public eye. Now, I partly feel responsible for this because the developers of Tetris Connect did a poll on Twitter, which of course, I responded to as yes, a mighty yes, of course, it's friggin' Tetris, only, oh, yeah, that's not quite what I was thinking. What a fool I was. Bill and Ted's Excellent Retro Collection. Literally, one of the worst games of all time. One of the worst games of all time. You're trying to sell it to customers as a joke. As a joke. For $35, of course, with a collector's edition for $25 more, which literally just includes a soundtrack CD, $25 extra for a soundtrack of chiptune farts. And, oh, by the way, if you don't buy it, well, they won't do better games later on, so you better buy this pile of shit from us. Literally, no one else could get away with this joke of a release. I mean, think about it, if like One Print Games, Super Rare, Special Reserve, if they did this, they would be laughed out of business. But for Limited Run, it is bodacious. I've got to the point where I don't even think they're greedy, they're like Bill and Ted. They're just Bill and Ted who accidentally got successful, fell into a business, and have zero touch with reality. You are ripping your loyal customers off just for a laugh and defending it, saying you have to do shit games first to gain the trust of IP owners. How about have respect for your customers first before trying to look like a company with cool 80s and 90s IPs under your belt? It's definitely an ego thing. Now, I'm not usually one to wish failure on anything, but I genuinely hope this sells poorly, because if they can get away with this, seriously, game collecting is dead. It is garbage. They're laughing at you. They are laughing at you. You are the punchline. They've got a joke. They've sold it to you. You are the punchline. That's it. And our executive producer, Parsnip Coffee, has chosen this as her pick of the week. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is an incredibly hotly anticipated title with so many layers to this release. We've got to break things down, okay? Firstly, you should all be aware this is getting a retail release worldwide. Retail everywhere. However, the collector's editions in Europe, Signature Edition Games are handling the collector's edition there. For 60 quid, you get all of this stuff. I'm not saying it, just look at it, okay? You looked at it? Good. You can pre-order this right now in North America. The greasy company themselves, and no, nothing to do with the free pizza, Limited Run Games have their 2 collector's editions, one at $65 for a Steam Box, which has the same artwork as the standard copy, and a retro slip cover, bargain, but of course, you know they're gonna milk that turtle teat with a pissening $200 collector's edition to get all of this. Sadly, the only way to get the soundtrack from them, which is the only thing I'd care about, but T. Lopez, so it must be amazing. The strategy guide would be nice too, but sorry, not for $200. And the fact they've sold around 3,000 copies of these so far for the Switch version alone at the time of writing this, I guess you guys are pretty hyped for it too. Although, may I turn your attention to the upcoming Japanese release as well, which may sound odd, but for currently $36, you get the game, you get the soundtrack, and an acrylic standee, which sounds like a really good alternative if you want the soundtrack without all the extra crap in Limited Run, and Signature Edition games if that's a bit too expensive. Still, it's definitely an interesting option, and especially it's the one that I would go for. There's links below for that one, free shipping over $100, and you can get 5% off with the code Jordan. And our executive producers: Elissa, Robotech, Rent McLean, Thorn Metaluna, Dane Wilkinson, Punky Dooster, God of Resin, and Instacritic. They've chosen this as their pick of the week. And also, I was gonna leave it there, but alongside tickling the turtle teat, Limited Run, they just couldn't help themselves. They just wanted to show how much of an egotistical... This is a bit of drama, which I hate, but I do have to bring it up just because how dumb and pathetic it is. Ridiculously, the managing director of Signature Edition Games publicly apologized to Limited Run and Josh for a little bit of banter, which also happens to be based on truth. Basically, someone on Twitter said they're buying a version from both Signature Edition and Limited Run. Signature Edition replied that they'll have plenty of practice playing the game by the time LRGs shows up in April. I mean, look, it's a slight joke. It's not even really a joke. It's a bit of banter. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. It's a funny little dig at Limited Run's chronic shipment problems. I mean, it is what it is. It's truth. But oh, Joshy boy obviously can't take any form of criticism, even when it's leveled as a bit of banter within the realms of truth, especially when it comes to his precious 90s IPs, calling them unprofessional, while also saying he thinks their products are shit in comparisons to Limited Run's wonderful stuff. And so, Signature Edition apologizes personally to Limited Run and Josh. That's just pathetic. That's pathetic. Josh, lighten up, have some humility, get a sense of humor, and know those E3 directs are not humor. Or just get off Twitter. You are your brand's biggest enemy when it comes to publicity. Jesus, man. Anyways, let's get into the imports. Remember, if anything takes your fancy and you'd like to import it for yourself, then please consider using the links below in the description and the pinned comment. If you click those links, then it helps support Let's Get Physical series ever so much. Thank you, really, so much. Plus, in return for clicking our links, you can get a very nice 5% off any physical item from PlayAsia if you use our current discount code Jordan. And remember, it is free shipping over $100. There are 2 imports this week, both ones you should keep an eye out for. Overlord Escape from Nazarick is one that I'm massively excited about, so much so I hope to give it a review for you guys. Now, I am not an expert on the Overlord series. In fact, if you said Overlord to me, I would think of the Wii game. That was a good game. Apparently, it's an anime, although that could be said about literally everything. Either way, it looks like a great side-scrolling action game as you play as Clementine trying to find her memories. It's reminding me a lot of Record of Lodoss War in terms of the visual style, Metroidvania gameplay. It looks fantastic, and as of right now, this is an import exclusive, but does play in English, so this is going to be quite a big import this year, that's for sure, unless some Western company picks it up, which, I wouldn't be surprised, but, maybe not wait around. And our executive producers, Issa, Vey, and Cartoon Soren have chosen this as their pick of the week. The Hong Kong Massacre is another interesting import this week. This is supposed to be releasing in Asian regions this week, Japan next month. This is an import exclusive that does have English, and it's a game that was decently well received if you're looking for some stylish top-down action. It's a bit like Hotline Miami if it was made within the realms of a Hong Kong action movie, which sounds fantastic. There's no word of a Western physical, so one to pick up if you don't want to wait around to find out. And our executive producers, Precision Plague and Alexander Cato, have chosen this as their pick of the week. Alright, the community spotlight. Retro gaming guy Brian is the ultimate legend picking up Let's Play Curling. It doesn't have English, but who needs English when you have curling? Our man in Japan, executive producer Vey, had a productive week showing off these releases. He picked up some cool Japanese editions of the Lego games. I like the bespoke logo, that's always a good touch. Robin Hatherall picked up these games, including the super disturbing Addams Family. I do not remember the family looking like that as a kid. Jose Zapata sent in this Mahusta picture, the premium box edition of Atelier Sophie 2. Nice treat for sure. This is a very JRPG heavy picture. Kiel sent in this picture of 2 very nice games. The special edition of Hyper Light Drifter looks really lovely. Sci-fi fantasy, love that art style. Vast Neon, thanks for using our links to pick up these 2. One is a 3-hour game, one is a 30-hour game. Both pretty good at doing what they set out to do. Executive producer Robotech sent in this picture of an all-time classic piece of plastic. Here's a code in a box just to add to the majesty. Sometimes you can't say no. Peter Clark picked up these 2, the recent release of Loopers and the Hack Triple Pack, the Japanese version, which does have English, remember, good for Europeans. Executive producer Precision Plague picked up these games, getting in on the rim action I see, plus a couple of limited run games with the rather vibrant Citizens Unite. Lil Raven, thanks for using our links to pick up Oshi Rambu, a short, colourful Yuri VN which includes its fan disc as well, an import exclusive with English. Ashura G picked up the Italia Dust Trilogy. I suppose this was from the reprint a few weeks back, thankfully stopping the scalping that started within seconds of it selling out, but more available now, links below if you want it. Executive producer Gato Robotto picked up these bunch of games. It seems that Surviving the Aftermath finally squeezed out. I did mention this one time, but it kept just getting pushed back, and I just kind of gave up, I don't like those kind of releases. It saves my sanity if I just forget about them. Executive producer Issa sent in this picture and kindly reminded me that Nightmare Boy was actually my first Switch review on SwitchWatch as an official member over 4 years ago. I guess technically it was the first public review I did, but I did make a Chroma Gun review before that, I just couldn't show it until the embargo. Executive producer Elissa sent in this picture of the lovely looking Tasamachi. The artwork might be better than the game itself, although the game is quite fun if you check out my review. Go Hobo Go sent in this picture of a bunch of eclectic stuff. Infernax is a game I'd actually like to try. I didn't see many reviews when it released, but it seems like a fun game. Legend of Kylia, thanks for using our links to pick up these two. Remember, Ender Lilies was put up for pre-order by Limited Run quite a while back, but this Japanese version does have English and is more accessible and is available now. Hudo sent in this picture of Breath of the Wild plus expansion pack. For those who haven't paid attention to a few videos that I've done, like the recent import stuff, this is actually quite a good import since it has all the Breath of the Wild DLC on the cartridge alongside the full game. No update needed at all, everything is on the cartridge, plus it plays in English and is compatible with with any Breath of the Wild save. Sadly, this is not easy to get a hold of, its printing seems to be very low. I will let you know if there's ever a restock. Annibal sent in this photo of some fine shmup goodness available on the Switch, and long may it continue. Thankfully most of them come to the West, but Aleste sadly has not and probably never will do. Executive producer Instacritic sent in this photo of some fantastic imports, plus Straightly Limited finally sending out their Death Smiles version. I believe the Japanese version was like December, plus it is getting a standard retail release in Europe in a couple of weeks as well. Executive producer Parsnip Coffee sent in these games, the other Atelier triple pack, this time of the Mysterious trilogy. That also got a restock alongside the Dust trilogy. Visipon picked up these One Print Games website version of Eternal Radiance, which comes with the very nice soundtrack. Worth it for that alone, I would say. Alright, it's time for a roundup. Katie Pajamas, Choco Loco James, KG, Cartier, Kraid, Bunny Bear, Silver House, Cartoon Soren, McLaren, Joel Parker, Needless Dragon, Lencho, Garzilla, Radio to Rancid, Mickey McFlynn, Elundara, Psych Villain, Samuel Robinson, Darkur, Irina. Alright, please send me your pictures on Twitter. So what about game? You can DM me or tag me in a post and use the hashtag Let's Get Physical. Do both. We have an email address, switchwatchspotlight@gmail.com, and our Discord. You can submit your pictures there in the submission section. The server link is below. Please just send me one picture per week. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Let's Get Physical. Please go check out a bit more Jordan, like right now. Well, after I've said, this little bit. Please go watch it, please go watch it. Subscribe and stuff like that, please. Alright, big up to our executive producers, Dane Wilkinson, God of Resin, Boombox, Brent McLean, Jonathan Rumor, Santa Tartaruga, Alexander Cato, JCross7776, Elissa, Punky Dooster, Cartoon Soren, Robotech, Z, Raven Knight, Thorn Metal Luna, Parsnip Coffee, Issa, V, Mental Traveler, Grant Cert, Viz, Jennifer M, Instacritic, Precision Plague, Kadacha, a brand new executive, Kadacha. By the way, dude, please get in touch with me over on Twitter or in our Discord. Please get in contact so I can talk with you and thank you, and also talk about your picks of the week, because yeah, we need to sort that out, so please get in contact. Alright, go watch some of our other stuff, and if you watched all the way here and then do something, give me something Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles related, okay? Something. See you guys over on A Bit More Jordan.